Joey, leave off! Let's finish it off with a ball.
Coward.
That was epic. Guys, welcome back to the channel. Here, we celebrate Prince Harry and Meghan. Subscribe today and be part of this amazing community. Let's dive in. What we are witnessing under King Charles's reign is nothing short of staggering. Truly, the British monarchy, this centuries-old institution, once draped in tradition, status, and carefully maintained public image, is now stumbling from one humiliating episode to the next. And let's be clear, it's not a flattering picture. We're seeing public brawls at royal events, feuds leaking into the press with disturbing regularity, scandals emerging that no amount of palace PR seems able to contain. And hanging over all of this, a thick cloud of dysfunction that is becoming impossible to ignore. The optics, an unmitigated disaster. The symbolism, damaging beyond measure. And the silence from King Charles and his so-called leadership, absolutely deafening. We are looking at a monarchy that is visibly cracking under the weight of its own contradictions. A family divided by unchecked egos, internal power plays, and, let's be honest, an utter disregard for the values they're meant to embody: unity, dignity, service, and respect. And here's the real kicker. This is an institution propped up by obscene levels of wealth and privilege, an institution sustained by millions in public money, and yet somehow they cannot maintain even the most basic level of public decency. Public scraps, petty outbursts, embarrassing displays for the world to see over and over again. This is no longer a symbol of British stoicism or tradition. It's a dynasty spiraling into the realm of low-rent reality television. And you really have to sit back and think about the double standards here. Remember, this is the same monarchy that allowed Meghan Markle to be vilified, hounded, for daring to breathe her own air, for daring to exist in her own space, for daring to question this archaic institution. The British press ripped her apart, headlines dripped with venom. Pundits lined up to call her a disgrace to the crown. And now, look at the state of the family she walked away from. Chaos, dysfunction, ego-driven power games playing out in public. The hypocrisy is astonishing. Meghan was crucified for doing far, far less than what we are seeing today under King Charles's watch. Let's be brutally honest here. This is hypocrisy on a scale that can no longer be ignored. And let's also stop pretending these incidents are just isolated mishaps. They're not. What we're seeing now, brawls, scandals, damaging leaks, constant palace infighting, is a symptom of something much, much deeper: the decline of an institution. The cracks in the facade are widening. The PR machine, once so ruthlessly efficient, is faltering. The once tightly controlled royal image is now spiraling out of control. That illusion of stoic, eternal stability, it's crumbling in real time, and the world is watching. Now you have to ask yourself, what's fueling all this dysfunction? What's driving this chaos? And the answer, in part, comes down to money. For all the pomp and pageantry, this is a family knee-deep in wealth management. Estates, property empires, investments, offshore accounts, you name it, they're entangled in it. And with all that money comes ego, entitlement, and power struggles that are now spilling into the public eye. Don't be fooled by the crowns and carriages. Behind the scenes, the royal family is mired in wealth-fueled squabbles that are tearing at the seams of the institution, and the public is no longer blind to it. Gone are the days when palace misdeeds could be neatly swept under the rug. Gone are the days of blind loyalty, where subjects simply accepted whatever narrative the royal press office handed down. Today's public is sharp. They are aware, and they are no longer willing to swallow staged photo ops and carefully managed appearances. People today are demanding the truth. They're demanding accountability, and they are calling out the blatant double standards every chance they get. Social media has changed everything. No longer can the palace rely on a handful of compliant newspapers to massage the narrative. Every misstep, every brawl, every scandal is captured, shared, and dissected in real time across every platform. The public eye is sharper, more critical, and more unforgiving than ever before. And in the midst of all this, what is King Charles doing? Let's be honest, not much. The absence of decisive leadership is glaring. Where is the unity? Where is the dignity? Where is even the slightest attempt to bring order to this mess? What we are seeing instead is an astonishing level of indifference. And that indifference is only feeding public skepticism about the monarchy's role in modern Britain. That's the heart of the matter. This is not just about one headline or one embarrassing episode. This is about the slow and steady erosion of what the monarchy stands for. For generations, the royal family has cultivated an image of stability, a source of continuity and calm in a world of change. But if today's leadership cannot even control its own house, how can it hope to be a unifying force for the nation? How can it inspire confidence in anyone? And here's where it gets serious. The very foundation of the monarchy's appeal, its image as a timeless, unshakable institution, is disintegrating. And when public respect erodes, when the illusion of unity collapses, what is left? A crown sitting atop an institution that is increasingly irrelevant, increasingly out of step with the values of the modern world. And don't for a second think younger generations aren't paying attention. Millennials, Gen Z, global audiences are questioning these outdated systems harder than ever before. They are asking the hard questions. Why should public funds continue to support this spectacle? Why should a modern, progressive society prop up an institution so clearly incapable of living up to its own ideals of dignity and honor? And these questions are not going away. In fact, they're only going to get louder. Unless the monarchy faces this reality, unless it embraces true transparency and real reform, it risks more than just irrelevance. It risks outright rejection from the very public it depends on to survive. Because what we are witnessing now is not just a bad news cycle. This is a turning point, a warning shot. The cracks in the royal foundation are widening, and if King Charles and the palace around him continue to cling to the old ways, to ignore the deep dysfunction now laid bare, the monarchy as we know it could very well unravel, sooner than many imagine. And maybe that's exactly what should happen. Maybe it's time for Britain to take a long, hard look at what this monarchy truly represents, and to ask, does it still have a place in the world today? Because here's the truth. People are tired of the hypocrisy, tired of the privilege, tired of an institution that demands loyalty while showing none in return. And until the palace wakes up to that truth, until it moves beyond the illusion, beyond the ego, beyond the privilege, the decline will continue, and it will be deserved. As always, thank you for tuning in. If you value this kind of straight-talking commentary, hit that like button, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comments. I'll be reading them all, and believe me, we're just getting started. Stay tuned, because this story, far from over.